gentlemen, you're watching the Yes Network, the home of champions.
Well, Andy Pettit will get the start tonight as the Yankees try to continue their winning ways. It's been 6 in a row. The Babes smiling down on them as a big crowd filing into the new Yankee Stadium. As tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Seattle Mariners in the middle game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Paul O'Neill and Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Yes, it's been 6 in a row, and the Yankees are doing everything well. Pitching, hitting, and when they hit well, you could say a lot of that has to do with Alex Rodriguez. But with Alex lately, it's not only hitting, he's also doing well in the field, Paul.
Well, Kenny talked about it last night during the game, how much better he's moving around the base. Physically, it looks like it's all coming together, and usually that shows up in your defense. You see him, how he's moving so much better onto the ball. And, you know, he made plays last night, but then this is what people come to the ballpark to watch Alex Rodriguez. In the bottom of the 7th inning, just an absolute bomb to put the Yankees ahead.
That put the Yankees ahead, and it looked like Phil Hughes was going to get the victory, but the Yankee bullpen didn't do the job in the person of Brian Bruni. He'd be the first one to admit it. But Hughes pitched the 7th inning, and we might have to spell the word filthy, P-H-I-L, filthy.
Wow, how about that? I'll tell you what, he has been money of late coming out of the bullpen for the Yankees. 16 strikeouts, only 3 walks since becoming a reliever, and last night he was money in the 7th inning. A slow ground ball to short, Jose Lopez is done. And then a future Hall of Famer, Ken Griffey Jr. to the plate, but not for long, as Phil Hughes strikes him out with a powerful fastball, and then Mike Sweeney, a lazy fly ball to left field, just 9 pitches and 3 outs. Phil Hughes was money once again.
Let's look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Maybe Phil Hughes gets in again. Jared Washburn will get the start for Seattle, 4-5, 3.22, and Andy Pettit for the Yankees, 7-3 with a 4.38 ERA. So Andy Pettit will try to straighten out some of the problems he's had here at Yankee Stadium. Wow, 5 years ago, one of the greatest games you'll ever see. We break it down. Derek Jeter's okay now. Welcome back to Yankees baseball, everybody. That's Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Paul O'Neill again is eating. He'll be back in moments. The thing that I noticed over your left shoulder, Kenny, is how much younger John Flaherty was 5 years ago. It's amazing what broadcasting will do to you.
Yeah, all the pressure of television, but there was pressure that particular night, July 1st, 2004. There's always pressure when the Yankees play the Boston Red Sox. And at the old Yankee Stadium just across the street, some great things happened that particular ball game. Tremendous plays defensively. Alex Rodriguez completing a double play. one of the best plays a Yankee has ever made. The captain diving into the seats to make a great catch. And then John Flaherty in the 13th inning, with the game on the line, came through.
And here are the specifics. Yankees beat the Red Sox 5-4 in 13 innings that day, and Derek Jeter's catch was made in the 12th inning. And John Flaherty, he had that game-winning RBI in the 13th. He was so much younger then, so much younger than today. Lineups, first pitch, baseball coming up next on Yes. Kenny is the biggest Yankee fan that you will ever meet, and when he was growing up, he wanted to have one job, and that was to be the Yankee announcer. See, he knows this is what he's wanted his whole life, and he will throw out the first pitch, and he's getting a little closer, and there we go. So that's the first pitch by Father Joseph McShane of Fordham University, a really, really good guy. So congratulations to him.
I love it.
New York Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Honda. You can depend on your Honda dealer for great leases and low financing. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Well, guys, a little help from above can't hurt Jorge Posada, so he's got that going for him.
You know, I can't wait till they dedicate that new Michael K. wing over at Fordham University.
I was going to say, you got a tear in your eye over there, don't you?
I love Fordham. Anyway, Andy Pettit's on the mound. Let's take a look at the Mariners' starting lineup that he's going to face, and it's presented by Cabot Wood Stains. Ichiro Suzuki in right field will lead off. Good numbers lifetime against the Yankees. Russell Branyan at first base will bat second. Batting third, playing second base, Jose Lopez. Ken Griffey Jr. will DH and clean up. Batting fifth and playing center field, Franklin Gutierrez. Vladimir Valentin is in left field, he'll bat sixth. Batting seventh and playing third base, Chris Woodward. Rob Johnson will catch, he's going to bat eighth. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is Ronnie Cedeno.
Well, the veteran Andy Pettitte on the mound for the Yankees. This will be a 16th start. He's off to a pretty good start for the Yankees this year, 7-3 as he comes into his start tonight. Let's check out our Jeep Pitcher Scout report on Andy Pettitte. He's hot in the summer. His two best months in his career have been July and August. 45 wins in July and 46 in August. Reaching a decision, he's pitched 20 starts against the Mariners, and he's 9-11 against them. He's had a decision in every start, and the only two teams he's got a losing record against are Cleveland and Seattle in the American League.
Let's do it here in New York, and there's a strike from Andy Pettitte. We are underway.
Hot time in the that Sly in the, who was it?
Yeah,
Sly and the Family Stone. So
that's an old song.
That's all right. Brings back good memories, right?
There's a ground ball of Cano. And a nice save there by Teixeira for the first out. Well, we've seen a couple of the players. Let's take a look at the Yankees' entire defense, brought to you by Home Depot. Damon, Cabrera, Swisher, same outfield as last night, left to right. Infield, Ransom will make his 14th start at third. A-Rod's the DH tonight. Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira, the rest of the infield. Posada behind the plate. And Andrew Eugene Pettit is on the mound.
Look at Cano and put a little pressure on the Mark Teixeira. Everything else from this point on for the rest of the night for Teixeira should be pretty easy.
Just making sure he's loose over there.
There's Russell Branyan, and there's a strike. Now, right around this time, as you approach the All-Star game, everybody starts writing the columns, biggest bargains, biggest busts. Well, Russell Branyan is making $1.4 million. He was signed in December, and he is one of the biggest bargains in baseball right now, doing a good job for the Seattle Mariners at the age of 33.
Yeah, we talked about it last night, how much he has bounced around, and the Mariners gave him a chance. And yeah, he's made the most of it this year. You saw his on-base percentage, 40%, 19 home runs. He's making a living out of that second spot. Look out, Russell.
IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. Branyan with a 10-game hitting streak, and it's not extended as he looks at a called third strike. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by our good friends at Bigelow 2. 72 degrees, 77% humidity, wind 10 miles per hour, and there's a forecast, of course, for some showers here at the stadium.
Here's that last pitch, and a little cutter action to the inside corner. Sent Brandon back to the bench.
And the pitch to Lopez is a strike. Dale Scott calling strikes behind the plate, the home plate ump. That one he doesn't. The count 1-1. Lopez, 8 hits in his last 16 at bats. And that one is driven out to right field. Swisher on the warning track puts it away. And Andy Pettit works a 1-2-3 first inning, and he threw just 9 pitches to do it. Mariners nothing. And the Yankees coming to bat. Leads off batting second and playing left field is Johnny Damon. Mark Teixeira's at first base. He'll hit third. Cleaning up and DHing Alex Rodriguez. Jorge Posada will catch. He'll bat fifth. Good numbers lifetime against Seattle. Robinson Cano drops to sixth against the left-hander. He'll play second base. Batting seventh and playing right field, Nick Swisher. Melky Cabrera with 3 RBIs yesterday. He'll be in center field batting eighth. Cody Ransom gets to start at third base. He'll bat ninth.
There's Jared Washburn. He's 5-5 in his career against the New York Yankees, and 4-5 this year as you check out his record. Pretty good earned run average. 81 hits and 89 in the third innings. He's been tough to hit. Let's check out our Jeep pitcher scouting report. He's only won one time since April the 21st, and that's because he's got very low run support. Lowest run support in the league. And earlier this year, on April the 15th, he beat the Angels. That's the team he started with, and that was his 100th Major League win. And you can see what he's done against left-handed batters. They're hitting just 162 against Jared Washburn. Do you remember Washburn, Paul?
Yeah, I remember. I was talking to him in the locker room. It was the weirdest thing. And I remember it well. I said, hey, how are you doing? And, you know, how are things? And he said, I got a story for you. And I said, okay. And he said, do you remember that we were in Anaheim? And Clemens was pitching, and he was knocking everybody down. And I said, you know, I got to do something. And you remember I hit you right in the ribs? And I'm just like, yeah, I remember. And I'm like, why you got a smile on your face? You know, why you're telling this story? But, you know, he was talking about how he, you know, left-handed hitters used to give him problems. He's learned a two-seam fastball, and now he's been much more successful with it. But I walked away from that story thinking, you know, that ain't right. You're kind of having fun with it, right?
The 2-0. High fly ball, deep center. Gutierrez backing up, and there's one away.
You mean to tell me that ever since he hit you as a left-handed batter, he's got a lot more respect against lefties, and he's getting them out?
He's learned a two-seam. I told him I had that, you wouldn't have had it because I couldn't hit it anyway.
Well, Gutierrez last night, he proved that he's going to actually
that 3 times.
This ball must be really hot because it's tough for him to handle.
You know, every once in a while you see a player, and even in a losing thing, last night Gutierrez did a lot of things well as a player. I mean, he played center field well. He had some good at-bats. You wonder why, you know, an organization would trade away a guy like this, and he was a right field with the Cleveland Indians, and now, I mean, he's a center field. You see him, he plays shallow. He gets back on the ball well.
Well, he's really shallow right now. I mean, Johnny Damon has power. He's playing softball depth for Johnny Damon. Now, I was wondering, Paul, you know, so Clemens was throwing at Angels. Why did you get plunked? And the reason is that you were 5 for 8.
I was up third that inning. He got 2 quick outs. It's the story that he told me.
Okay. Also, you were 5 for 8 against him lifetime.
He was a guy that was always, you know, proud of his stuff, and you know, it was a challenge to hit him because he would come after you. He's a little bit different pitcher now because he's, you know, he's a little older, knows how to pitch better, knows how to cut the ball and sink the ball.
It doesn't throw as hard.
Right.
Yeah.
That too.
Missed outside. Let's take a look at the umpires tonight. Dale Scott behind the plate. Jerry Meals is at first. Mike DeMuro is at second. And Ron Culpa is at third. Fouled away.
The stadium looks good tonight. I mean, you're not used to seeing the colors of sun going down and the green grass. Usually it's gray and raining by now.
It's always something about a ballpark with a very good crowd in it. A lot of energy.
Damon's worked the count full.
As a player, Paul, you get pumped up when there's a lot of people in the stands. I did too.
There was always just a feeling of, you're right, excitement. Even back in the minor leagues, remember like the special days where you knew you were going to get a lot of people?
Giveaways?
Yeah, Diamond Dog, fireworks night on July 4th.
You probably spent your meal money those Diamond Dog days. Let's take a look at the Home Depot's defense for the Mariners. Valentin, Gutierrez, and Suzuki. Left to right in the infield, Woodward, Cedeno, Lopez, and Branyan. Johnson behind the plate. Washburn's on the mound. The Mariners do not have a good defense. They throw the ball around, 59 errors. So Damon's on first, working a 9-pitch walk, and here is Mark Teixeira. And there's a strike. Alex Rodriguez on deck.
You know, one thing Washburn has to do, and I mentioned the fact he probably doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but he moves the ball around and changes speeds. He and Andy Pettit almost fall into the same category. They've kind of changed their patterns over the years.
That one is rip foul. I'll look down at Rob Thompson, see if anything is on. 1-2 count. Damon leads off first. Line drive, center field, and it's a base hit. Didn't play as shallow for Teixeira as he did for Damon. If he had, he would have made that catch. So a single for Teixeira, and that's going to bring up A-Rod.
Here's a look at a pitch that's down, and that might have been the only thing that kept it in the ballpark. Maybe just above knee high, but Teixeira's right on it because it's right in the middle of the plate. So it's right in the middle, and he hit it back through the middle. It's always nice to get a hit that first time up.
I'll tell you what, especially after last night, he hit a couple balls hard, right at people, a couple diving plays. He hit one hit, but could have had 2 or 3. It's good to see that the luck has changed your first at bat.
Last 6 games for Alex, 8 for 19 with 3 homers, 11 ribbies, 6 runs scored against Washburn. Lifetime 15 for 47, that's 319, and 6 of the 15 hits, home runs. And they continue to try to pound him inside. They got burned on that last night with Jakubowskis on the mound when he hit that long 2-run home run. Washburn has not allowed a first-inning run in his last 11 starts, so the Yankees trying to break that string. Two and 0.
I should mention A-Rod's got a 6-game hitting streak going. And last night's home run against Seattle was the 30th that he's hit against his former team.
And as we mentioned, he has 6 against Washburn.
There's a mistake there. Kind of cut fastball up in the zone, kind of got flat. Once in a while as a hitter, you're like, how did I take that one?
That should be a double play. There's 1, and there's 2. He hit it hard, but right at the shortstop Cedeno for the inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. So the Yankees strand 1. Washburn's gone 12 starts without allowing a run in the first inning. .07 shall be first pitch. While we go to the second inning, there is no score. Andy worked a 1-2-3 first. Here's Ken Griffey Jr. And there's a strike.
Andy threw only 9 pitches in the first inning. One thing to remember about this Seattle team is as hitters, they have the fewest walks in the league. So they're up there swinging away. If Andy makes good pitches.
A base hit past the lunging Jeter into center field, and that snaps an 0-for-11 slide for Ken Griffey Jr.
I was going to say, if he makes good pitches, he'll get these guys to put the ball in play early in the count. And this is what happens with Ken Griffey Jr. Although this is kind of over the out of third, it's up about belt high. And Griff gets this one in the center for a base hit. What'd you say, 0-for-11, Michael?
0-for-11.
Well, that's gone now. He's 1 for his last 1.
Here's Franklin Gutierrez. 7 hits in his last 16 at-bats. And there's a strike.
I think Gutierrez is a guy who hated to see interleague play end. He's got 7 home runs this year. 4 of them came against San Diego.
Now, is that their natural rival, so they play 6 games against them?
I don't know. I don't know if it's their natural rival, but he likes them.
Since June 18th, in 11 games, 378. The 5th batter is Gutierrez, and Andy has thrown first pitch strikes to all 5.
Who would be their natural rival? Seattle's kind of far away from everything.
Might be San Diego.
Calgary's got a AAA team, don't they? Tough team. I mean, the closest team would be Frisco.
San Francisco, probably. But their natural rival is Oakland.
Yeah, you have to have a natural. Yeah, they can't have 2 natural rivals. I bet you it's the Padres. Well, look it up. We'll check it out.
Let's see. They played them twice.
It's easy. You've got a schedule.
You got a schedule.
You don't have one, Paul?
Kenny just took mine.
Pitch is high, 2-2.
Mine are always right here, just laid out nice and clean.
As usual, Michael's right on the money. They played San Diego twice this year. Once at home, of course, and once on the road. That's one reason why Gutierrez has all those home runs against them.
Boy, when you think about the great rivalries in sports, Yankees, Red Sox, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Lakers, Celtics, and obviously the Mariners and the Padres. 2-2 is foul back. That's one of the inequities, though, about interleague play. I mean, the Yankees and the Mets make sense, but you can't create natural rivalries for some teams.
You know, there's some good ones around in the White Sox and the Cubs.
Right.
I mean,
Angels and the Dodgers.
Yeah, those are good rivals.
Oakland and the Giants. Yeah.
2-2. Grounded and off the glove of Ransom. Everybody's safe. Well, if they scored, it would have been a tough play, but a play he should make. And it seemed like from up here it went off the heel of his glove or his wrist.
It's going to be scored a base hit. The ball was hit hard by Gutierrez, but it looks like you're right, Michael, that he actually, if he short-armed it a little more, he would have gotten it.
That ball almost took a bad hop back behind him. It was there, and it actually came up behind him.
That's a nice, friendly official scoring decision. Base hit.
You usually don't get that on the road.
Here's Ballantine. Pitches inside. Last time out, Andy didn't pitch well. Hit an 8-1 lead in Atlanta. And he lasted just 3 2/3. He had one long inning where his defense kind of abandoned him and threw a lot of pitches. It was a very hot night. And he gave up 7 hits and 6 runs. Not involved in the decision. Foul away. Stay tuned during the 7th inning stretch for a sneak peek of Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, now playing.
Now, Valentin is not a regular, but in his last 7 games started, he has hit in 5 of those games.
There's sound effects here?
I did those, yeah. Foul back.
It's like these last few pitches have been up, and maybe Posada is going after to remind Andy to get the ball down. Valentin's had some good swings.
Especially with the man on first and second. I mean, if you get that sinker down and get him to roll over one, you can get that double play.
One, two. Strike 3. Ballantine down looking.
like it hit the inside corner. Maybe it's what Posada wanted. And Dale Scott, he's got that unusual way of punching people out. Just kind of. Ooh. That looked like it was a ball. It looked like it was inside, but Dale Scott, it was close enough for him.
Here's Chris Woodward. Now, Paul, if you turn around, right behind you is the president of Fordham, Father McShane. You can ask him if the school's actually proud of you.
How are you? Nice to see you. Don't say anything bad now. We're on the air, all right?
Popped up right field, Swisher toward the line, and he'll make the play for the second out.
You know what? I actually went by the school yesterday. Come and visit. I've been waiting for Michael to take me there for ages. He won't show up with me.
I don't think I'd want him to see the school.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
look at that. There we go.
A recruiting pitch.
This was me with my telephone coming to the ballpark yesterday, right by Fordham.
It's a beautiful school, but it's hard to get into, right, Father McShane? Wow. 26,000 applications, 1,700 people accepted.
For all you guys watching the game now, they're just bragging. All right?
Breaking ball strike to Rob Johnson.
Father, how are you? No, thank you very much. Oh, yeah.
First and second with 2 outs. Johnson, the catcher today, batting 8th. And the pitch is outside, 1-1. Now, you accepted a scholarship to go to college before you...
Yeah, it was
which was the college?
University of South Florida. Robin Roberts was coaching down there. Actually, I was down visiting the school, staying with him in his house and his family when I found out I was drafted. And kind of a neat thing for him to say, you know, I've offered you a scholarship. I want you to go here. But, kid, I'm telling you what, if you want to play professional baseball, go play professional baseball. And I thought that was one of the coolest things. And over the years, I've seen him numerous times, and I still bring up that story.
Crowd looking for a strikeout, and the 1-2. Got a piece of Posada.
Well, from one catcher to another, Rob Johnson fouls it. Looked like it got Jorge's left foot, and wasn't there a movie, My Left Foot?
Michael, help me out here.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Well, right now, it's Jorge's left foot.
You know, I'm thinking, Paul, if you had actually stayed, your life would have been, you might not have married Neville.
Oh, I was married Neville, absolutely.
But was she going to South Florida with you?
Yeah, but she was coming to Florida. She liked the sun. She liked the beach. So we would have hooked up in the winter, right? Hey, I tell you what, when you play high school baseball in Columbus, Ohio, you'll go anywhere to play where it's warm, you know?
The 1-2. Fouled off.
Andy Pettit early in the game, remember in the first inning, you saw a lot of fastballs, big old breaking balls, but when he gets in trouble, he's got to go back to that cutter, and that's what you've seen the last couple of hitters. He's starting to throw that cutter in on the right-handed hitters.
Plenty of strikes.
Thrown 19 pitches so far this inning. He had 9 in the first inning, 1, 2, 3. So 2 successive singles to open up the second, create a little bit of a jam. You can get out of it by getting Johnson. Count 2-2. There's a ground ball to second, so Andy does work out of trouble. The flip to Jeter, they go the short way, and that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. Father McShane, president of Fordham, he threw out the first pitch in an inartistic way, but then he decided to bless Jorge Posada, so the Yankees have a the stands. The Yankees won that game in 13 innings, and our buddy and colleague, John Flaherty, got the big hit to drive in the run. And John Flaherty is actually in the ballpark today. Now we know Derek is in the ballpark. He's in the lineup. There's Posada. Grounded foul.
Do you think Flash would come by and say hello to us? Or?
I would highly doubt that.
I don't know. We had beef sandwiches before the game. You figure he'd come up and cop one of those for you.
You would think. You would think. But he's somewhere in the ballpark. He texted me because he was upset. He said, I come to the game one day and Fordham Prep has to be on the field. So he went to George Washington. The 0-1. There's a strike.
Cameraman's job tonight to find Flash in the stands.
1 out of 46,000. Should be easy. Count 1 and 2.
Jorge rolls up there with a 4-game hitting streak.
Man, he's down looking.
See Jared Washburn, I mean, he used that fastball, he's used that cutter, so it kind of opens up that outside corner. You see the movement on the end of that pitch. As a hitter, you kind of give up on it because when it's in a hitting zone, it looks like it's wide, and then it's got that little cut at the end.
You know, this series, 3 games against the Yanks, and then 3 games against the Red Sox, will serve a dual purpose. Number one, of the Mariners for real. In the West, do they have a chance to make it? If they completely get waxed by those 2 teams, you know what? A guy like Jared Washburn is going to command a lot on the free agent market or on the trade market if Cano singles the center.
Well, this trip actually started in Los Angeles against the Dodgers in interleague play for the Mariners, and they won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, who have the best record in baseball. This is a 6,000-mile trip from L.A. to New York to Boston and then on back to Seattle. And when they're on an airplane, they're going places. The closest stop is what? Oakland?
San Francisco or Oakland, yeah.
And that's
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours, yeah. Every place else you're going to be on a plane for a while.
But there are a lot of teams that are in desperate need of starting pitching. And if the Mariners feel that they're out of it, boy, they could really get a boatload for a guy like Washburn. The Phillies need pitching. The Mets need pitching. I mean, every team really needs pitching. And Washburn's a pro. Good pitcher, left-handed. Hot shot, base hit through the left side off the bat of Nick Swisher.
I was talking to Nick before the game about the bunt he laid down last night, and he was going for a sacrifice bunt. Actually got a base hit out. This is a high fastball out over the plate, and Swish is not going to miss. He rips it through the hole into left field, and the Yankees got something going with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 2nd inning.
Pitch inside.
You know, Washburn is pitching a lot of similarities to Andy Pettit. You see the big curveball there, then they'll throw that cut fastball in on the right-hander's hand too.
Grounded to third, backhanded by Woodward across the diamond, and a 5-5-3 double play to end the threat. So 2 innings, and each inning Washburn has induced an inning-ending double play. Woodward makes a nice play, steps on the bag, and then fires to first as we go to the 3rd. is perfect. On the Modell scoreboard, there's no score, and Modell's is the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. I really shouldn't say there's no score, because 0-0 is, in fact, a score. That's the score. The 0-1, count 0-2.
You could say there's no scoring as of yet.
Scoreless? No, it's not scoreless either, because there's a score. Runless. Paul's confused.
I don't even know how to come back to this.
There's no real scoring as of yet. Semantics.
Ronnie Cedeno
I'll tell you
from
one
Venezuela,
thing, Mike.
Carabobo.
If the score stays the way it is, we're going to be here a long time. How's that?
The 0-2. 1-2. What's the longest game you ever played? Innings-wise.
Remember that doubleheader we played against Detroit? And the first game, I think, was 18 innings. And then we played the second game, so we played 27 innings that night.
Yeah, I remember that.
As long as I remember being out.
I think I was doing that game.
Ground to foul. Did you play every inning that game?
I did. Yeah, I remember going in the locker room the next day, and Joe Torre said, "You're not playing today." I said, "I'm all right." He said, "It's you or Chad Curtis." I said, "Chad looks bad, man." He said, "All right, man, you're playing."
You just didn't want to be in the ballpark not playing. Didn't make sense to you.
I don't know. Every once in a while, those things kind of build up, and it's almost a challenge to see if you can get through them. And it was fun.
I was talking about this today. Jerry Manuel, the manager of the Mets, had said that he has to give David Wright a day off to keep him fresh. Now, I'm not specifically saying this about David Wright. There's a ground ball to second, and Cano is there. But David Wright is a healthy 27-year-old kid. Now, I understand why you have to give Gary Sheffield a day off and Alex Rodriguez because of the surgery. But how did Cal Ripken play all those games in a row? I mean, why did he need a day off to keep fresh?
I think a lot to have. It's not just, giving a guy a physical day off. I think it's how certain players grind out there. And if David Wright's one of those guys that's just intense, grinding every single day, it's more of a mental break. Where Cal Ripken, he was pretty methodical out there. He just, took his position every night, did what he did for years and years and years, and that's just what he did.
And you don't think that wore him out?
Oh, I guarantee there were days that he was probably better off on the bench. But, and I think that streak got in the way of some of those things. But, I mean, what an unbelievable thing.
Grounded up the middle. Cano right there. And they get the chip.
To see that go on while I was here and to see it end when we were in Baltimore that night. I mean, that's a streak. You say a lot of records can't be broken. But this day and age, the way people are injured and the way people take days off, I mean, will that record ever be touched?
I agree. I don't think it will.
No, it's not going to happen. But I think that a manager knows his players and knows his team better than anybody should know his players or his team. And maybe, Jerry Manuel feels it's time to give David Wright a day. What's been going on lately. And, you wonder what makes Joe Girardi make decisions as far as who plays and who doesn't. And it's because he sees the players all the time in the clubhouse. He sees them, on the planes and buses and trains where, other people normally don't see them. And he's supposed to have a feel for his particular team.
And I get it. And I'm certainly not singling out Wright and Manuel.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
just the latest example.
I'm talking about any manager.
I remember growing up, Roy White played every game of a couple seasons in a row, and there's no thought about giving him a day off. It just seems like players have changed. I mean, did you ever, either of you guys play in every game of the season?
I did. Yeah.
I never played every
season. I did it once. But I think I was like 26 years old when I did it.
Because the longest active streak was Ryan Howard, and he got the flu and had to sit out one day. But you wonder, how did Ripken never get the flu or anything like that? Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. And you played 162 games, Kenny, in 1973.
That was my first really big year in the major league. So Gene Mock decided I was going to play every day.
On the top of the third, 0-0. 2 outs. Branyan at the plate. The 2-2. Fouled away. Now, when you didn't play every game, Paul, did you ask for the day off, or the managers felt you needed it?
Yeah,
off?
usually you got called. I'd walk in, and usually when it was a left-handed pitcher, somebody didn't hit well, Zim would walk out. Hey, Joe wants to talk to you. It's like, you know, all right, I'm not playing. Here I go. So, and you go in, and he'd give you a reason why. And most of the time, it was almost expected, but usually know when it's coming.
Swing and a miss. Strong third inning for Andy Pettit. 2 ground balls and a strikeout of Brendan. His second 1-2-3 inning out of 3. We go to the bottom of the third. 0-0 on yes. It's 0-0, bottom of the third. Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees. Cody Ransom swings and misses. Ransom has a very odd 7-game hitting streak. It's lasted about 3 months, right? The 0-1 had a hitting streak going before he went on the 60-day DL. He missed 58 games, and a couple of games he's played, he's picked up a couple hits.
Wasn't it Jimmy Rollins who ended the hitting streak at the end of one season, came back the next year? Yeah, it was like a 30-game hitting streak. You know, that's kind of ironic we're talking about hitting streaks, because on this day, 1941, Joe DiMaggio got a hit in both games of a doubleheader to tie the major league record of 44 straight games. And that was held by Wee Willie Keeler, who for 44 straight games hit them where they weren't. Or he used to hit them where they ain't.
You were much more grammatically correct.
Well, I'm sure Wee Willie didn't go to Fordham.
Swing and a miss.
You know, it's funny
down on strike.
Talking about hitting streaks. I remember when Pete Rose, you know, growing up in Ohio, when Pete Rose went through his big hitting streak, and that's back in the days where every game wasn't on TV. And every morning I couldn't wait till the paper got there, because I'd run out and check the box scores to see if, you know, he got some hits. And I remember how disappointed I was when his hitting streak was over. So
Gene Garber.
Yeah, in Atlanta, down in Atlanta.
He accused Garber of not challenging him.
That's right.
Come on.
Jeter hit a deep drive to center, hauled in by Gutierrez in the first. Foul back. Well, you know, because you played under him as a manager, the Reds, that he was driven by numbers. He knew exactly how many hits he had, and that streak meant a lot to him. And I think if he looks back and reconsiders what he said, it didn't look good when he kind of ripped Garber for throwing him breaking balls. I mean, that's, you know, you want to get the guy out. He wanted him to be challenged with a fastball. 1-1. Garber was at the Braves then. Kind of a sidewinding right-hander.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Pete make the last out of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was
right.
the last hitter.
Yeah.
Hey fans, it's time for the Toyota text poll. Tonight's question is, which pitcher would you prefer in the 8th inning role? The choices are Alfredo Aceves number 1, Brian Broody number 2, Phil Hughes number 3. Now you can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. That one's driven deep, just right field. Ichiro back, and he makes the play in front of the track for the second out.
Yeah, we talked about how shallow Ichiro plays in right field, but Ichiro has the ability to get back quickly with that great speed and make plays up against the wall. And Derek gives this one a bit of a ride to right field. Looked like he couldn't quite get extended enough to get the real barrel of the bat on the ball with the extended swing. And Ichiro, with his quickness, you'd see him tracking it. And on the warning track, hauls it in. He is very smooth. And then he settles back in. That's going to be a good 40 yards there, isn't it?
I don't know if it's 40 yards.
It looked like
maybe 40 feet.
Yeah, it looked third and long. Yeah.
That's right. I know one thing, Michael. If we were out there playing there, it looked like a lot farther.
That one's drilled down the right field line, and it hooks foul at the last moment.
In the right field, I mean, the bench coaches used to move you. You know, you'd be out in right field and you think you're in a perfect position, and I'd look in. Jose Cardinal's like moving me over to right center, and I'd keep looking over to the line, thinking to myself, man, I can't get to a ball over there. And he'd keep moving you and moving you.
Now, isn't it true that they moved you in the 96 series when you were on that bad hamstring?
It makes for a great story now, but it was the truth. Yeah, he moved me a couple times.
Did they move you closer to the play or away from the play?
Closer to it. Yeah,
so that's why you made the play.
Well, he actually moved me farther into the gap.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of playing in close, thinking Louis Poloni, he's not going to drive the ball, but he did.
And you were playing on a bum leg, too.
Was it Cardinal who moved you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sometimes when you don't want to be moved, you act like you don't see him. But Jose had a white towel up, and he was ringing it, waving it around, so there's no way around it.
That was driven deep to right field. Ichiro back, looking up, see ya! Home run, Johnny Damon, and the Yankees lead 1-0.
We talked about how Washburn had pitched so well against left-handed batters, but he got one that right in Johnny Damon's wheelhouse. Middle, inner third, and Johnny does the rest. This is going to be his 15th home run of the year. He gives the Yankees the lead.
Pitch is inside to Teixeira. Damon, 47 ribbies from the number 2 spot. Popped up. Right side. Mannion gives it a look. Out of play.
How about 57 runs, too?
Rip foul.
Mike, I'm looking at this. I mean, he has slowed down when he got up to a great start in home runs, but in his career high is 24. That's his 15th before the All-Star break. So Johnny Damon likes the new stadium.
That kind of fired up the crowd, didn't it? It still was.
They had that sound immediately. There was no doubt in that one.
High fly ball, left field. Got to make the seats out of play. Here's that sound you like, Paul.
Well, you can close your eyes and just listen to this one. It usually means good things when you're hitting. You know you knew it the moment he hit it.
The sound in the field tell you that it can't stay in the ballpark.
Johnny Damon, the man of 10,000 looks over there. Every time I see him, he's got a different hairstyle. Sometimes it's up, it's down.
Damon didn't hit his 15th home run last year until September 17th. A little bit ahead of his pace. The 2-2. Rip foul.
I'll tell you, DeSharon's been all around him. He's hitting Rockets foul because Washburn's getting him out in front. You get the feeling that one of these he's going to be right on time. I was talking to him yesterday before the game, and I told him that you know, you hear about and you read about players and how good they are, but you don't see them on an everyday basis. At least for Yankee fans and myself this year. See, I told him, you know, I appreciate you more now as a player. Now I get a chance to see you play more often. He's a tremendous ball player.
Swing and a miss. So he goes down on strikes. But Johnny Damon with a home run, a solo shot. There's the sound. And there's the fury. 1-0 Yankees as we go to the fourth. Damon's home run is giving the Yankees a 1-0 lead in the top of the fourth. The Yankees have won 6 in a row. That one is laced in the left center field. It's going to be a base hit. In fact, it splits the outfielders and goes to the wall. Lopez will stop at second with a leadoff double.
Ball up in the zone, and these are the balls that usually get you hurt if you're a sinker ball pitcher. Drives it out in the left center field. Seattle an opportunity to get something on the board.
A couple of years ago, Lopez made the All-Star team when Cano couldn't play. He had an injury, and Lopez took his place. Lopez is a pretty good ball player. He can hit.
With Ken Griffey Jr.
I was just watching down the on-deck circle. Ken Griffey Jr., good friend of everybody's. And Michael, you met him yesterday. Joe Oakes, you remember him. And there he is right there. He was sitting there talking to Griffey. And the funny thing was, I saw him before the game yesterday in this wild shirt. And then I happened to look down during the game. He had Griffey's jersey on. And I'm like, how dare he? What's up with that? He said, Griffey said, I want the shirt. He said, what do you mean you want the shirt? He said he pulled the shirt, broke the button, said, here, put this on. So he had a jersey on, could barely even button it.
They switched.
So they switched. So yesterday he sat there with Griffey's jersey on because Griff wanted his shirt. How you like that? What you get for sitting on the on-deck circle.
Fly ball center field. Melky backing up. Tagging is Lopez. And Lopez gets to third. Strong throw. But he gets in nonetheless, so one away. Time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz here in the top of the fourth inning. Let's take a look at the question. On this date in 04, John Flaherty had a game-winning hit in the 13th inning against Boston. The question is, off which pitcher did he hit it? See, we really need John up here right now.
Where is Flash? Put a flash alert on. It's got to be around here somewhere.
I'll text him, tell him that you want him in here.
Yeah. Tell him I need him for the question.
All right. Yankees bring the infield in with Gutierrez at the plate.
Again, don't you think sometimes as a manager you could ask the pitcher, you know, what do you want here? What's your option? Do you think you can keep this ball in the infield, or you know, do you want to give up this run? And I think more times than not, a pitcher will take his chances of trying to keep that ball in the infield.
All right, the text has been sent.
You don't have a response yet?
Well, I just hit the button, send. The response is whether or not he shows up. The 2-0. And the count 3-0.
Well, if Gutierrez gets on via the walk, then they'll draw back a double play depth. That might be a reason why Andy Pettit's being careful with Gutierrez here. And Valentin's up next.
And he ends up walking Gutierrez.
Yeah, I think he was just being careful. He knows that Gutierrez is more of an everyday player than Valentin, who's coming up next, who plays basically against left-handed pitchers. But Andy struck out Valentin his first time up, as opposed to Gutierrez, who got himself a base hit.
We looked at the replay of that strike 3. It was a little inside.
Yeah.
So this is where if you're a hitter, you remember that pitch, because you got to hope that they're not going to continue calling, because you cannot hit that ball that's, you know, 6 inches in off the plate, cutting in on your hands.
Swing and a miss.
Like that?
Yeah, but he remembered it, looks like.
Yeah, he was hacking at it.
We're in the 4th inning. It's 1-0 Yankees on Damon's home run, but the Mariners are threatening. 1st and 3rd with 1 out. And the 0-1. Grounded and knocked down by Teixeira. There's one. Back to first. Not in time. A bobble by Teixeira cost him the inning-ending double play, and the game is tied at 1.
Michael, you're right, and on both ends of that, Teixeira didn't come up with it cleanly, but he recovered, and it kind of set Jeet off. Think, you know, he got flat-footed, threw it behind Andy. They say that's the hardest double play to turn from the first baseman to the shortstop. The pitcher has to get over there and cover, but he got what he wanted. Gutierrez got out of the box slow too, and you see Andy thinking he's got a chance. Nope.
Pick them off clean. So Valentin picks up an RBI, and Andy Pettit quickly erases him on the base paths. Now, he's been doing it for years, and he does it again. He picks up Valentin, and that's going to do it. Valentin gone. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 1-1. to short. Cedeno makes the play. Let's take a look at the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz, and we'll give you the answer. Flaherty has not returned to the booth to help Paul out. On this day, no 4. John had a game-winning hit in the 13th inning against Boston. On which pitcher did he hit it? All right, it's a Red Sox pitcher. Do you want to give it a try?
I mean, Wakefield gets up every hit, doesn't he? Pitched against us about 50 times.
All right, let's see. Kurt Liscanic.
Well, I think of him with the Colorado Rockies more than the Red Sox.
And the pitch to Posada is low. Hot shot to short. Cedeno gobbles it up. And there's two. I just got the return text from this man, John Flaherty. This is how he ended that game. Has the winning run scored. Flash with a fist pump. But this is the exact quote from the text, his return text. I told him, Paul wants you to come by the booth. He goes, no chance. Don't have my credentials. Paul knows about that.
There we go. It's all on me again. See? Trying to get a little help on the end. I'll tell you one thing. If I ever go on, what's that show, To Be a Millionaire? He's not one of my lifelines. He's not even going to show up.
He won't be home.
That's right.
Check swing, a slow roller to Woodward. And a nice, easy 1-2-3 inning for Jared Washburn. 5 pitches, 3 ground balls, and the Yankees go down in order against Jared Washburn. As we go to the 5th, it's 1-1. Thank you, Bob. As we go to the 5th inning here at the stadium, it's a 1-1 game. And it'll be the bottom third of the Mariner order against Andy Pettitte. And there's a strike. Chris Woodward, Rob Johnson, and Ronnie Cedeno. The Lexus scoreboard, 1-4-0 Yanks, 1-3-0 Seattle. Count 1-1. Back on the bunt attempt.
You know, it's interesting to watch these two pitchers because they're kind of out of the same mold. And I just love the way to watch them pitch, change speeds, keep hitters off balance.
Yeah.
And you know, Andy Pettitte does it very well. He's changed his style of pitching over the years. He doesn't strike out as many as he used to. And the same with Washburn. He doesn't strike out as many batters as he used to, so he changes speeds. And they both have done a pretty good job of keeping hitters off balance tonight.
Chop toward first to Shera. will beat Woodward to the bag.
You know, it's funny because I was just about to bring up the same thing. I mean, you might as well just turn off the radar gun because it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
But both of these guys know how to pitch. They both have fastballs. They can move to both sides of the plate. They're both using their curveballs.
You know, for the fans, it'd be interesting to watch just how one pitch sets up the next pitch. You know, even when they miss out of the strikes, almost as if they want to miss so they can throw another pitch to a different location on the plate. You know, miss inside just enough to make the hitter think that that's where I'm trying to go, but then hit that outside corner with another pitch and maybe take a little off.
That one just past the glove of Pettit. Pettit almost wanted to fire the glove into the mound. Decided to hold on.
Every once in a while, you'll see a reaction from a major league player that just looks like something out of Little League. And Andy Pettit, I mean, he's such a mild-mannered guy, but I tell you what, he's a competitor. Just let it go. Let it go, dog. Just throw it. I love it. That's it. Come on, it's got to be the glove.
High fly ball, deep left center. Cabrera back, still back, track, and he makes the play. Live Yankee games at the beach, live Yankees games at the office. Now you'll never miss a live Yes Network Yankees game again. Starting July 8th, Bronx Bomber fans will be able to watch live Yes Network Yankees games on their personal computers and laptops. If you're an Optimum Online and IOTV customer that watches the Yes Network, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and sign up for your subscription now.
To see you at the beach watching the game, huh? You look kind of like the Hamptons kind of guy, don't you? You hang out in the Hamptons?
Love the Hamptons.
Is that right?
Love the Hamptons.
You on the A list?
No, I'm not on any list.
You're on some lists now, I'm telling you.
You will be on the list if you have your laptop with a game on it. Right there on the beach, Michael. You've been drawing a crowd. Yeah, I wonder how much Michael would charge people to watch the game while he's
That's right. Do the W.B. Mason to read that just so everybody can hear him talk.
I could like charge him for personal play-by-play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea. Good side business. There's a strike to Ichiro.
Either that or it's see ya.
Ichiro chops it to short. Jeter goes the short way, and that'll do it. An 8-pitch inning for Andy Pettit. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We're halfway through. It's 1-1 on Yes. You're starting to like this
Why are you
broadcast.
laughing over there, man?
Because you were waiting for some like big epiphany to start.
My best read all year right there.
That's your only one. I even bought you a gift.
I see that. You brought me a donut.
A little tiny chocolate donut.
What is that thing?
And there's a strike to Swisher. 0-2 on the Lexus scoreboard. It's 1-1. Bottom third of the Yankee order. And the 0-2.
You know, each and every hitter has a routine, and I think Michael and I talked about Swisher's routine. He doesn't vary from each side of the plate. It's just about the same. Holds up his hand like Derek Jeter does. Stop the action. Now he's ready.
Now he's not. He looks at a call third strike. He does not like that call.
It's usually right down to the video room to see if what's in your mind is true. Well, that's kind of around the outside corner. But both of these guys, Andy Pettitte and Jared Washburn, you see that ball just off the corner. But, you know, they've both been good tonight. They've both been around the plate. Dale Scott's going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Give Johnson a little credit, too. Kind of drag that ball a little closer to the strike zone.
You know, that was just off the plate, but Nick Swisher thought it was way farther outside.
You really do. You just know what you saw. You go in on the video, and you almost think it's a bad angle or something. Even a TV can't tell you it's a strike.
You know, hitters like Swisher who draw a lot of walks. He's got 50 walks. Sometimes you trust your eye a little bit too much. And, yeah, he was right, as it turns out. But you got to realize who's pitching. They get the calls. Who's the umpire who might give the calls. And both these pitchers are sailing along just off the plate and getting the call. So this game is moving pretty quickly. They both had low pitch innings.
Fouled away now. What were you just doing, Paul? I've never seen you struggling like this.
Got a little fan up here working along. Just you're talking about the beach and the breeze and everything. I turned it on. I couldn't get it to stand up. I'm having all kind of issues up here.
It's a clip. You know, there's a clip here.
You kidding me?
He's fighting it.
We need a ceiling fan. That'd be a lot easier. Just flip a button.
That one's driven deep to left field. If it's fair, it's gone. It's a fair ball. See ya. A long home run. Washburn thinks it was foul. Cabrera rounds the bases. If Ronald Culpa is not overturned, the Yankees lead 2-1.
They're going to have a discussion.
There's a happy kid right there. And you might get a replay here, but this ball was so high. You see, Mulkey thinks he gets it.
He knows it's not staying in. Just a matter of fair or foul, and the umpire is going to discuss this one. We get another look. Man, it looks like it disappeared right over the top of the foul pole in fair territory. That's the way it looks to me.
Yeah, this is a tough angle, and again, when the ball is hit that high, it's a tough angle for any umpire. But the umpire, they're going to go get a replay. But I don't think that replay is going to overturn it.
And that's the key, Paul. The call on the field has to have irrefutable evidence in order to overturn it. Does that have irrefutable evidence? Let's take a look. From one angle, it looked clearly fair. From this angle, it looks clearly foul. And this is the fair angle. Looks like it goes inside the pole. And then it lands in seats inside the pole.
I think one of the keys here is you can see that the netting here, and if you can see the ball on the backside of the netting, that's what the netting's there for. It gives you a better look at fair or foul.
You can see Dale Scott was saying it's over the top.
Yeah, but that's not Dale Scott's call. I mean,
it's the third base umpire, right? If you can see the ball come down on the fair side of the netting, that's usually a good indication it's a fair ball.
Now, it's all according to the angle
that you look at, yeah.
At which you're looking, because obviously it landed right over the Amtrak sign. Right? Over the A in Amtrak. Now, you look down that line from where we are. If you're looking from the first base side, the Amtrak sign looks like it's in fair territory. And from this angle where we're sitting right behind home plate, it looks like it's foul. And this is over the top right here. It's awfully hard to tell.
Yeah, it's...
Either way, that ball was hit a long way. Melky Cabrera killed that ball. And again, I don't think that any of the replays are going to show 100%.
You know, if Melky does get a homer, here's the fair angle.
And it's blown up just a little bit as you see the ball.
Right over the top.
And the umpires come out and say it's a home run.
So for Melky, that ties the number of home runs he had last year, 8 all last year.
I tell you what, I've never gone through this, and you haven't either, Kenny, because this is a new rule in baseball. But imagine sitting on the bench not knowing. You know you just hit a home run, but they're in there looking at the video, and it's got to be a couple minutes of waiting to see if that one really counts or not.
You go up there and strike out on the next pitch.
Yeah,
you don't get
exactly.
it.
That one took 2 minutes and 25 seconds to decide, so they did it quickly, efficiently. A 1-0 to Ransom. 2-0. So 2 home runs ups the Yankees scoring. And the home run barrage here at the stadium had slowed down of late. They'd had just 5 home runs in the last 3 games. And Ransom's count to 3-0.
You've seen a lot of balls hit hard out into the gaps in the center field, and it does seem like the ballpark's playing a little bit longer. You see some of the center fielders easily getting the balls in the gaps. A couple danger zones still down the right field line, right center. But I think as a pitcher, you learn to pitch to certain spots, keep the ball out of certain areas.
Grounded foul. And the 3-2. Driven out into left center field. Gutierrez is there. 2 away. Hey, tonight after the postgame, stick around for a special Yankee Steiner Memories of the Game. See some of the unique collectibles from the original Yankee Stadium, including commemorative stadium seats and sod. It's a special Yankee Steiner tonight after the postgame, only on Yes. Here's Derek Jeter. Jeter's 0 for 2. Fly ball to center, fly ball to right. And I think that clipped Derek. It did.
And hit his shin guard or his foot.
Got his back foot. Right on the toe of the right foot.
Third time he's been hit this year.
Which really isn't bad for G. He dives into the ball and he's had problems in the bat. You see that. It's one of those things that'll be a couple weeks later you'll wake up and think, why is my toe hurt? And it's still, those kind of things take a while to go away.
There's Damon home run his last time up. There's a breaking ball strike from Washburn. There's Eric Hinsky, the newest Yankee. Activated before the game. Yankees sent down Ramiro Pena, who really did a good job for them. But Hinsky, left-handed batter, can play first, third, outfield. and just getting acclimated to the situation. Damon has 15 home runs, and Paul mentioned earlier that Damon likes the stadium. 11 of the 15 here in the Bronx.
Might be a toss-up between Damon and Teixeira. Who's hit more balls in the second deck?
Off-speed pitch. Damon swings and misses, but the Yankees do the damage with Melky Cabrera's long drive just over the foul pole. He's willing it over. The umpire says fair ball. Washburn said, "Oh, wait a minute." They did. Actually, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Boy. Yankees have a 2-1 lead as Russell Branyan leads up against Andy Pettit. And he starts him off inside. 1-0. 2-5-0 Yanks. 2 runs on solo home runs. 2 solo home runs. 1 4-0 for Seattle. Andy has faced the Mariners 20 times in his career. 9-11, 4.68 ERA. And this is his first real solid, strong start that I can remember at Yankee Stadium. His numbers on the road are much better than they are here in the Bronx. On the road, he's 4-1 with a 2.79. At home, he's 3-2 with a 5.77.
It looks like the scouting thing here on Branyan is to make sure that he doesn't get his arms extended. We've talked about the power that he has as a hitter, but it's real hard to get to, so you've set up and pitch right there away by going inside hard 3 times. I mean, just to go back to what Kenny and I have been talking about all night. Andy Pettit has good control of his fastball. That's the cut fastball after running those fastballs in on the first 3 pitches.
Yeah, corner to corner, and this one, man, barely gets it outside corner. Just a hint of it, but enough to get Branyan looking. Just, that was beautiful setup the way got him out there.
Jose Lopez swings and misses at a change.
Yeah, here's a scouting report, a hitter scouting report on Jose Lopez, who's having himself a pretty good year. 345 in his last 22 games. He's hit 7 homers. He's only got 10 all year. He's hit 7 in the last 22 games, and he's really hit much better on the road. You know, the Safeco Field hasn't been as safe for him. He's hitting under 200. Under the Mendoza line. Remember Mario Mendoza?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's a good fielder. Didn't hit much.
You talk about a lot of these guys on Seattle might hit better on the road. Seattle, a beautiful ballpark, but not a hitter's paradise. The gaps are long. It gets cool. The ball doesn't carry very well.
That is a great ballpark, though.
I think it's a beautiful city. Just the only problem is too far away.
You telling me? It's like you're on the other side of the earth when you go out there. But I tell you, once you're there, it is a beautiful city.
So you guys would like it if they would move it to Maine, something like that.
Yeah, we'd visit.
Move it to Staten Island. Even closer.
Just take the ferry to Seattle. The 2-2. Fly ball, center field. Melky back. 2 outs.
No, we keep going over the same thing, but if you look at the sequence of these pitches, changeup, fastball, curveball, just everything is working tonight. And a couple starts ago, I had a game down in Florida where Andy just could not, he didn't have control of any one pitch. And tonight's one of those nights where he has control of everything. And, you know, he's smart enough to use them all in given spots. Without kind of a botched up double play ball, he could have a shutout right here.
Last 2 starts Andy made in really tough heat in Atlanta and Miami. That one's driven deep to right field. Going back. Swisher looking up. See ya. Home run Griffey. And the game is tied at 2. The kid turns back the clock. And he hits a home run in his 44th different ballpark.
Well, I can add the new Yankee Stadium to the list of ballparks in which he has hit a home run. That's his 10th of the year and the 621st of his career.
A lot of home runs and a lot of respect from a lot of people in that dugout. Junior's not the player he used to be, but still, the things he's done in this game, people respect.
They say that Gutierrez went on that check swing. So Griffey is a DH tonight, and he picks up his 10th home run, 26 run batted in.
Ball out away from him. You know, he's pounded Branyan in all night, and he kind of got that ball away from Griff. Griffey was so dangerous in the old ballpark because he had the ability to wait and drive the ball to left center field, but he was so quick, and he could hook that ball down the right field line. Some hitter swings are just perfect as a home run hitter, and Ken Griffey Jr. was one of those guys who just had an elevated swing. So when he hit a ball hard, it was, you know, he elevated it. The fly ball became a home run. Where a lot of guys hit the ball hard in their line drives and they don't get out of the ballpark.
A lot of hard ground balls. Yeah.
I told you Andy struggles here at home. He's allowed 12 home runs this year. 10 of them, including Griffey's obviously, have been allowed here in the Bronx. And he's not a strikeout pitcher. And you are going to hit fly balls off him, and he at times will be hurt by this ballpark. The 2-2 hit sharply and off the edge of the glove of Jeter, and it trickles into center field for base hit for Gutierrez, his 2nd of the night.
Get a curveball out, up over the zone. Gutierrez, I mean, we talked about him last night. Good, solid player. He's putting together good at bats, good defense. Just out of Jeet's reach.
Get a chance to play every single day. That wasn't the case in Cleveland, where they had Grady Sizemore at center field, and so Gutierrez wasn't going to play much center.
No.
So Dave Island goes out and has a talk with Andy Pettit. Andy's thrown 81 pitches.
We talked about that before. I mean, in the minor leagues, certain organizations can be, you know, just a horrible thing for certain players, but you always got to remember that there's other teams and there's other jobs, and if you're good enough, you'll find a spot.
And it's almost, if you know other organizations, I mean, you play against them, you can see the competition on the other teams, and you can, they don't have any outfielders over there.
And how many times did you hear that in the minor leagues?
Yeah.
Back to, you know, I could be starting for this team. Well, you're not on that team. So, you know, go out and hit your 300 or do what you're supposed to do.
And you might get on that team.
Right. You're a high draft pick, Kenny? Yeah. So when you went to rookie ball, you felt like, you know, the organization had a plan for you.
I started in A ball.
Yeah. And there are guys, you know, that come in, and let's face it, there's 4 or 5 guys on the team that they have plans for, and then there's the fill-ins around them, and you really have to turn some heads if you're one of those fill-ins. So, but there's been plenty of them. You look back at guys like Mike Piazza, guys that, you know, were drafted in the 40th round or whatever, become superstars.
Don Madden.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of #1 draft choices that never sniffed the major league.
That's true too.
You know, it's a crapshoot for organizations to put that time and effort in certain players.
And money.
A lot more than it used to be.
And sometimes organizations will make decisions based on that because they have so much invested in the first-round draft pick. They'll try to see things that might not be there.
Let's put it this, you're right, Michael, because those guys are going to get advanced if they show anything.
Right.
And
the other guys have to sparkle.
Well, they have to outplay them.
Yes, by a lot.
By a lot.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. 1-2 to Valentine. 2-2.
You see Andy Pettitte thrown over to first. If you're a base stealer, you know, early in the inning, no outs, 1 out, to sit and read his move, you cannot steal second base. But when you get 2 outs, you almost guess. And if you guess right, you can steal a base on Andy Pettitte if he falls asleep with 2 outs, because, you know, you don't wait to read his move. You just go on the first move and hope he goes to the plate.
Runner was going on a 2-2 pitch. He's out. He thought it was 3-2, and he jogged towards second base, so he pulled a rock, and the Yankees took advantage as Posada gunned him out. He's looking around and goes, I thought it was 3-2. You can see he's taking off. He thinks that's ball 4, but it's not. And a heads-up Cano and Posada taking the task. First pitch to Mark Teixeira is upstairs 1-0. Game is tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Heart of the Yankee order coming up against Washburn. Grounded and through for a base hit.
Well, I had a feeling he'd be right on time before the night was over, and he got one that he ripped through the hall. So Teixeira, with his second hit of the night, you can see his pitches up. And most of the night, Washburn's had his pitches fading or cutting in, and this one's up in the middle. And I think it's a product of leading off the inning because he doesn't want to walk it. And there's a base hit to get things started. 2 hits for Teixeira.
And that'll bring up Alex Rodriguez. Alex did some community work today. He actually visited Washington Heights for the first time since he had moved away as a preteen. There are about 1,000 people in the streets to see Alex. And he was joined by Cody Ransom and Yankee GM Brian Cashman. And the three of them fed about 300 kids at the Nuevo Caridad restaurant.
Oh, right.
High drive, center field, deep. Gutierrez back. Track. Wall. See ya. Into Monument Park. A long home run by Alex Rodriguez. A 2-run shot. And the Yankees lead 4-2.
That goes to show you one good turn deserves another.
Again, you see everything behind the baseball. Good extension. Don't try to pull it.
On the Coors Light freeze cam, you see
dead center field.
Point of contact, and he knew.
Middle of the fairway. Gutierrez is not going to get this one.
That's A-Rod's 7th home run lifetime against Washburn. He has 4 home runs in his last 7 games. 13 home runs on the season, now has 41 ribbies. Pitch outside.
Yankees going with the quick strike offense tonight. 3 home runs.
Foul back.
This home run will increase the hitting streak to 7 consecutive games. A majestic high fly ball over the center field wall. Right underneath his picture up there on the video board. Yep.
Also woke up the ghost there in Monument Park, rattling around out there.
The old days, that's probably in the black, right?
Yeah.
The old black seats in the old Yankee Stadium.
Kevin Long, the hitting coach, all smiles.
Get the feeling one of those days they're going to rearrange those numbers.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Posada way out in front.
Come on, Robbie, get on there.
Jared Washburn, one of those guys, he's a competitor. He's got an ego. I mean, he's not going to pitch around Alex Rodriguez, even with the success he's had over his career. But in a close game, you know, I think that you can't let a guy like Alex Rodriguez beat you. Not when he's had the success he has in the past. But big 2-run homer for Andy Pettitte to take the mound again.
Slow roller back to the mound. 2 outs.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why he pitched to him because Teixeira got a leadoff single, and he didn't want to put 2 men on base.
You know, it's so funny that you see him starting to turn around, and you know the history. There's 7 home runs, Michael. I mean, that's a history. That's not a couple. I mean, that's not a couple good swings. So
it's Miguel Batista, the veteran.
He has been around. I remember facing him.
Many times have been.
John Wetland right in front of him, the new bullpen coach. I think Wet, he's gotten a lot of attention since he's been in town, and I think it almost surprised him that, especially with all that has happened in the last couple of weeks, or last week with Mariano, that he was the guy that kind of helped Mariano get to where he is, showing him how to close, and talking to him in the bullpen.
Popped up in the infield. Woodward makes a play on the mound for the final out of the 6th. But the Yankees retake the lead. 2 runs on 2 hits. The big hit, a home run by Alex Rodriguez into Monument Park. His 13th of the year for 2 Yankees. Break time for a fresh brewed cup of coffee. Yes, we get our Green Mountain K-Cup coffee system from the same people who bring us our office supplies. WB Mason, who but? So Andy has himself a lead again, and he will face Vladimir Valentin, who was at the plate when Franklin Gutierrez forgot what the count was to end the 6th inning.
Paul, you ever done that?
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's anybody that has taken the field that hadn't done it once or twice.
High drive, center field deep, going back, Melky still back, and he redirects, and on the track he makes the play. One away. The wind is blowing pretty hard in from left field, and you can see the wind took that one just a bit.
Again, the ball's hit, gets up in the air. Michael, you talked about the wind. You see Melky going back to the wall. I don't know if that's your ideal path. He turned a few times, but the good thing about it is when he looked back, he caught path of the ball, made a few minor adjustments.
Melky, it's over here.
Yeah. Thought he was going to throw the fair catch up there.
There's a strike to Chris Woodward.
I can remember on a pop-up, I thought there were 2 outs. I just started hauling around the bases. There was only one.
More, you know when it happened more was when you're out there defensively and you get a strikeout and you put your head down and start running in, and then about halfway and you notice nobody else is running in, and you kind of make a little loop and hope nobody sees it. Cheat usually costs you or somebody.
I think it was in last night's game. Was it? I saw a highlight today where the Red Sox infielders ran off the field into the dugout. There was only 2 outs. They had to all go back on the field. Yeah, that was last night's game.
That's hard to have all 4 people have the same brain cramp.
How close we are, Michael, out there.
It's almost like you see one guy running off and you, well, maybe I was wrong, and you run off with him.
You know what, though? Paul's right. It's something that you do only once in your career. And sometimes you look at the scoreboard and the guy whose uniform number is 3 is up on the board. You see 3, and it's not.
The thing is, you get back to the dugout and you want to blame the scoreboard guy. You know, he messed up. It's never you, right?
Time for another look at tonight's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question: which pitcher would you prefer in the 8th inning role for the Yankees? You've been texting us at 58772. Here's the overwhelming majority want Phil Hughes in the 8th. Brian Bruni was 2nd, and they might get Phil Hughes in the 8th. And Aceves was 3rd. So Girardi follows that text poll.
Well, it's usually that, you know, that what have you done lately thing. And
that's exactly it.
See, the thing about that, though, that they're going by what happened in last night's ball game, and Bruni gave up a couple runs to tie the game. But if Hughes had actually pitched the 7th and the 8th last night, he might have not have been available for tonight's ball game.
He threw 9 pitches for 1-2-3-7 yesterday, the 2-0.
It'll be a back-to-back thing if we do see Phil Hughes. And last night, I think, Phil Kokup also was probably as hard as he's thrown all year. We saw him strike out Griffin with 96-mile-an-hour fastball. So is he going to be able to do that time and time again?
Coke is up once again because you've got Ichiro and Brandon back-to-back.
Lined into center field. There's Melky Cabrera. And he'll put it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. And at the end of 6.5, Yankees are leading 4-2. But we keep it here throughout the 7th inning stretch for a sneak peek of Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, now playing. But first, we honor
4-2. Melky Cabrera is going to lead it off for the Yankees. Melky has a home run in 2 trips. You can see the totals on the scoreboard. Jared Washburn's still in there. Feels a little bit low for ball 1.
Got a home run and a replay. Got to watch it a few times go over the pole.
Melky ties his career high with his 8th home run. And pitches outside. So 2 balls and no strikes. Be Cabrera, Ransom, and in the top of the order, and Derek Jeter. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The fans all settling back in their seats following the 7th inning stretch. High fly ball, deep left center field. Gutierrez is there and makes the catch, and there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Yankee Baseball and Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Audi dealers. Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees.
So 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Cody Ransom trying to extend his 7-game hitting streak. And the pitch.
It's unusual to hear you say that, Michael, because we know he's just come back to the active list. Out with that quadriceps strain, but with a 7-game hitting streak.
It is amazing. The quadriceps seems to be the new injury that really takes a long time to heal. Right now, Jose Molina is trying to come back from that.
I saw Jose today.
He's going out tomorrow, isn't he? I think he's going to Pawtucket tomorrow.
That one is driven to center field. Gutierrez is there. 2 away. Hey, live Yankee games at the beach, live Yankee games at the office. Now you'll never miss a live Yes Network Yankees game again. Starting July 8th, Bronx Bomber fans will be able to watch live Yes Network Yankee games on their personal computers and laptops. If you're an Optimum Online and IOTV customer, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and sign up for your subscription now. Along with Paul O'Neill and Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. We thank you for joining us on a beautiful Wednesday evening in New York City. The Yankees with 3 home runs have put 4 runs on the board against Jared Washburn. They lead 4-2, trying to extend their winning streak to 7 straight. Jeter swings and misses.
I think the Rays had a 7-game streak end today. They lost to Toronto.
I think they ran into the rookie Ricky Romero.
Boston, after a horrible loss last night, ended up coming back and winning again today.
11 innings it took her. Line drive, base hit by Jeter.
Keep that streak going. Captain now up to a 7-game hitting streak. It's a Tommy Hawk, this one. Just get on top of it.
Eyes right on the baseball. Don't pull off of it. Only way to hit that ball hard is to stay on top of the baseball. And you see his back shoulder doesn't dip. It stays on top of the ball. That way you can drive it. As soon as you dip under a high fastball, you're going to do nothing but pop it up.
Damon swings and misses. Slow breaking ball upstairs. 68 miles an hour.
It's about our hitting speed right now, Michael. That's 68. We'd be right on there.
That might be a little behind. 99 pitches for Washburn. This will be the century mark pitch. And it's popped up. Washburn's done a nice job, but he has allowed those 3 home runs. The wind takes that. Woodward stays with it. And 7 are in the books here at the stadium. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Do we see a Sebas? 4-2 Yanks.
Going to go back to the 5th inning with 1 out. See Melky Cabrera. Long, high, deep drive. We had to wait a while for a couple minutes for a replay, but it ended up being a home run. Melky agrees with the umpire. It's a drive of the game, Michael.
A drive of the game, a little bit delayed celebration. Don't want to get too excited till it's official. And it took 2 minutes and 25 seconds to make it official. This is also official. Joe Girardi makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT Your World Delivered. And he's calling on Alfredo Aceves to relieve Andy Pettitte.
Well, you can close the game, close the book on Andy Pettitte, but I mean, there's really one word. I mean, he was solid. He left 1 pitch out to Junior, and they didn't turn a double play when they had a chance, and he threw a complete solid game for the New York Yankees tonight. Good curveball, good fastball, good control.
Now, this could be one batter for Aceves, because Koch's still warming up, and you have Ichiro and Branyan at the top. That's why they didn't bring in Phil Hughes, because they're going to match up here. They didn't want to waste Hughes on just one batter, so they'll get Aceves to try to get Cedeno, and then in all likelihood go with Koch for the 2 lefties. 1-0 outside. Mariano beginning to stretch. There's a strike.
It's like Christmas out there, doesn't it? A little red and green.
High fly ball, right field. Wing takes it toward the line. Swisher puts it away. 1 down. Hey fans, tonight throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the 3 of us here in the booth for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Alex Rodriguez, number 2, Andy Pettitte, number 3, Johnny Damon, number 4, Melky Cabrera. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Well, nice quick night for Alfredo Aceves. He gets Cedeno on the fly ball right. He has a bit of a smile. Now it's Phil Koch's turn to come in and get the lefties. Come back and see how he does. Stick around for a special Yankee Steiner Memories of the Game. See some of the unique collectibles from the original Yankee Stadium, including commemorative stadium seats and sod. It's a special Yankee Steiner tonight after the postgame, only on Yes.
We love specials.
Specials are great. They're special.
I'll tell you one thing. I saw an advertisement for Center Stage the other day, and you're going through the pictures and pictures. I can't believe how many different people you've had. How many have you done?
About 130
wow.
now.
So I thought you were still like 10 or 12. You threw an extra 100 in on me.
10 or 12.
The pitch to
That's pretty impressive. You know, when you leave town for a while, you don't realize that you just keep doing this stuff.
Well, he tapes two or three a day.
Yeah, I'm working while you're home on the porch.
Yeah, home on the porch, all right.
No, he's
sweeping the porch.
He's got that R9 in his hand.
Ooh, is that a good club?
The 1-0. Chopped right back to Koch, and the Yankees have certainly handled Ichiro tonight. He is 0 for 4, and that might stop his 12-game hitting streak unless the Mariners rally here.
What did I say last night? He's hitting 58 of his last 62 games. It's like a slump when he doesn't have a game where he doesn't get a hit.
Took a game off.
That's going to bring up Russell Branyan.
Now, these are the two players that Koch faced in last night's game. He pitched 2/3 of an inning. He got Ichiro to fly out, and then he struck out Branyan.
I wonder about the wisdom of stacking them in the lineup. What would be the harm of having Lopez bat second and then just split up the lefties? Don't make it so easy for a manager to match up that lefty.
Well, you know, I think one thing, Branyan's having such a good year, and when you look at his stats, I looked at him last, he's hitting 300 against lefties and righties. Yeah. But you're right, Michael. The odds would say that bringing in a lefty out of the bullpen who's pretty good to match up with these two guys makes it more difficult. Although Ichiro's hitting like 370 against lefties. Right?
Pitch is high now. Entering tonight, Koch's last 14 appearances, 12 2/3, 14 strikeouts, just 5 hits, a run, and 3 walks.
You saw Phil Hughes warming up in the bullpen. And the reason why he's warming up, if Koch does not get Branyan out, Phil Hughes will come in and try and get the righty out. So that Joe Girardi has this inning all mapped out.
You think about Russell Branyan. I mean, he's not the guy you think about hitting the 2-hole to start with. I mean, he's a power hitter, but a lot of times you'll put guys in the 2-hole that you want to hit fastballs. And with Ichiro getting on base a lot, you're going to see a lot of fastballs. Andy Pettitte pitched him well today. He busted him in before he went away. Didn't give him an opportunity to get his arms out all night.
Swung on and miss. He has the golden sombrero. Not Phil Koch, Russell Branyan. He struck out 4 times with Koch nailing him for the 4th one. The lefty winds, kicks, and deals, and Branyan goes down on strikes. Mariners go down in order. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
It's like
Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. And by IOTV. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free. with IOTV. Were you scared of that big bad city, Paul, when you came here from Cincinnati?
I didn't know what to expect. Look at all those pretty lights, man. It's like a postcard, no?
Hey, you're on the scoreboard now getting a big
See
hand.
that? Michael, move over, man.
Here's Mark Teixeira and Miguel Batista on in relief of Jared Washburn.
You know, this game has kind of worked out the way most games have worked out for Jared Washburn this year. 7 of his 14 previous starts, he'd gotten 2 runs or less in the way of support, or 3 runs or less in the way of support. So this is kind of the norm. And he's the American League pitcher who gets the lowest amount of run support.
Again, he made a couple mistakes, especially to A-Rod. I mean, he challenged him and A-Rod took him deep. But, I mean, he's a solid pitcher. I mean, he threw a good game. He had people off balance. I mean, it's almost the same scouting report that we gave when Andy Pettitte closed the book on his night. I mean, just a pretty solid performance. Just knowing that, you know, you're pitching for the Seattle Mariners, you're not going to get a lot of runs. Puts a lot of pressure on you as a pitcher.
Well, you faced Miguel Batista. He's been around a long time.
Yeah, he was
starter, reliever, several different teams.
He started in that 2001 World Series. He was in Arizona.
Slow roller to second. Lopez gets Teixeira. And Teixeira's 2 for 4 tonight. Let's take a look at the play of the game brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance.
Now let's go back to the 6th inning with a man aboard. A-Rod straight away center field. Second straight night he's hit one out of here, and that's our Geico play of the game. His 13th home run of the season.
Just like that, here's Alex Rodriguez.
Wow, he's everywhere.
Almost like it was planned.
What production.
Wrapped into a double play, grounded to short, and the home run in the 6th. Now, managers throughout his career have always been tormented by Miguel Batista because they see his stuff. And I think he should be much more successful. He's also very laid back, very cerebral. He's an artist. And he gave up a base hit to A-Rod.
Well, A-Rod had a better stroke that time.
Nice. Again, A-Rod, I mean, he looks so comfortable with the plate now. You see he's loading his weight, but he's staying neutral. He's not closing himself off. He's allowing his hands to get through the ball. He's so strong. If he hits the ball hard, good things are going to happen.
Yeah, he can get his glove down.
I was just going to say Batista. I mean, that's a reaction, but that ball was 2 feet by him by the time he got his glove in the area where the ball was. If that would have been in his kneecap, they'd be carrying him off the field right now.
Smoked. And low laser.
This could be an inning-ending double play. There's one, and Posada is doubled up 4-6-3. So Batista works a scoreless 8th inning. Last licks coming up for Seattle, and they'll have to do it against Mariano Rivera.
Gosh, what an arm. You knew he was going to be something obviously special at the back end of ball games. I was talking about him yesterday to another reporter, and he asked, did you think he'd ever save 500 games? I said, I don't think we set out thinking that, but I just, when I saw Mo, I just went up, gave him a big hug, told him I loved him, and I'm proud of him, and told him to go get another 500.
I don't think Wetland wants him to get 502 tonight, because if Mo nails this down, he will beat Wetland's team for the second straight night with a save. Now, Mariano gives a lot of credit to John Wetland, calls him his mentor, said he learned how to be a reliever working under Wetland in 95 and 96. So he's going to try to protect the number on his back, a 4-2 Yankee lead. Speaking of numbers, 501 saves for Mo, most in the American League all time. It's going to be tougher to catch Trevor Hoffman, who's pitching for the Brewers this year and actually doing a very good job. But Mariano's just trying to nail down these saves one by one. They'll face 3, 4, and 5 in the Seattle order, starting with Jose Lopez as the Yankees lead 4-2. Yankees trying for their 7th straight victory. And there's a strike.
Wetland was no slouch himself. He had 330 career saves.
When you talk about the Hall of Fame, obviously Mariano Rivera will be in the Hall of Fame because he also has World Series. He's pitched on winning teams. But how far do you go down that list? Top 2, top 3, top 5 that are Hall of Famers on that save list? I mean, Trevor Hoffman.
I don't know if Lee Smith, or I don't know if John Franco did it.
Yeah, I mean, how far do you go down that saves list before?
It's a tough call. It's been something that writers struggle with.
You know what it is? I think the relievers are just now starting to get their due. And when Raleigh Fingers went in, a few years back, it was primarily because of his postseason saves and all that sort of thing. But Goose now, and then Bruce Sutter got in. So now I think closers are starting to get their due.
That one is hammered to left, giving Chase Damon. It's a foul ball.
See, Mo, and I talked about it last night with Joe Girardi. Says that you really have to be careful. Now look, you see this ball just took foul. But if you give Mo a target, he's going to hit it. And if you look at that last pitch, you see Cody Ransom down there leaning that ball foul. But if you watch the location that Georgie wanted, the ball got hit hard, but Mo hit the target. And you see where Georgie wants it high, and that's where it is. Oof.
Swung on and missed. Nope, he foul tipped it, and Posada could not hold on. I think he got a piece of him as well. Might have jammed his fingers in the gloved hand. Thumb.
Base of the thumb. Oh, catcher's hands, that glove hand takes a pounding.
Not too many catchers that don't have kind of nerve damage and thumb problems. And in slow motion, you don't see the velocity of that ball. And it was funny when we were talking to Yogi yesterday. He said that he had broken hands and stuff, never catching, which surprised him. But catchers have all kind of problems catching that ball off the thumb.
The 2-2. Grounded to third. Cody Ransom fields. And there's one away. Remember, right after the final out, the Emmy Award-winning WB Mason postgame. Get a complete wrap-up of tonight's game against Seattle. Look around the rest of the league. Plus, hear what the players have to say to Kim Jones in the clubhouse. It's the WB Mason postgame after the final out, only on Yes.
I didn't see the WB Mason band today.
We playing a little golf?
We talked about I was in the same spot, same area, hitting some golf balls. Guy must have taken a different route. We talked about it yesterday. I saw that truck drive by.
4 for 11 Griffey is lifetime against Mo. Griffey's had a good night. 2 for 3. A home run, a single, the pitch. Foul back. Let's take a look at Griffey's home run. This came in the 6th inning against Pettit.
One of the few pitches, and he got out over the plate. Griff quick enough to get to it, and again, he's always been able to hook that ball. makes him a home run hitter.
Yes, it did.
No doubt about it.
Number 5 on the all-time home run list. Grounded foul.
Well, what you're looking at now, the future Hall of Fame matchup right here. There's a couple of speeches to be made.
Still 1-2.
I'll tell you another thing you're looking at is a left-handed hitter just in the back of his mind saying, are you kidding me? There's no way that I can hit that pitch right there. There's nothing I can do with it.
You can't keep it fair.
And the pitch. Grounded to second. Cano's right there. And Seattle's down to its final out. Time to announce the Chevy part of the game is voted on by you, the fans, and the 3 of us here in the booth.
Well, Andy Pettit, I mean, he had good stuff all night, and it just busted people inside. He had a good curveball, good fastball. The big thing you see that in strikeout pitch. The big thing here is to think he did it in Yankee Stadium, where he could get that monkey off his back. He can start to pitch well here time and time again.
He's also poised to pick up his 8th victory of the year. That would lead the Yankee staff. Here's Franklin Gutierrez. And the pitch is inside from Rivera. Rivera pitched on Sunday, off Monday, pitched yesterday, pitching again today. Yankees on a bit of a run, and the games haven't been blowouts, so Mariano seen a lot of action. Now, there was a point on the recently completed road trip that Mariano hadn't pitched in 8 days. So it's feast or famine. So the greatest reliever of all time has a 1-1 count on Gutierrez. 1 out away from nailing down the Yankees' 7th straight win before a crowd of 45,285 here in the Bronx. And the pitch. Slow roller fielded by Ransom. This should do it, and it does. Yankees win 4-2. Save number 502 from Mariano Rivera. They win their 7th in a row. And they have not trailed in a game.